This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. When looking for things to talk about, oftentimes a headline jumps out at me that makes it impossible for me to ignore, to pass by, to find something else. And this is one. This headline from the Business Insider: Trump said he, quote unquote, wouldn't dispute reports that he called Pence a pussy on January 6th for refusing to challenge the 2020 election results. And I find it funny and interesting and topical because it is another case of Donald Trump projecting his bizarro interpretation of the world onto everybody else. It is Donald Trump, the biggest fears in his little weakling heart, he pukes out onto everybody else as though it's their problem. Because Donald Trump, if there's a pussy in the bunch, it's Donald Trump. Pussy being the root of pusillanimous, by the way, is the root of that word. It does not mean female genitalia. Just to be clear where the word comes from. Pusillanimous. We'll put it on the screen. Because Donald Trump, remember back after the Parkland shooting when Donald Trump said, I would have stormed right in there and saved those kids, like he was some kind of a superhero. Donald Trump, who when he gets inside of a big rig, acts like a toddler. Donald Trump acting like he's some kind of a hero or a tough guy. Out on the campaign trail, I'd like to punch him in the face. The smooth-skinned, callous-free millionaire is a real tough guy. Reading from this article, in the hours before the deadly January 6th insurrection, supporters of then-President Donald Trump aggrieved over what they viewed as a stolen 2020 election. Rallied in Washington, D.C., with the then Commander-in-Chief continuing to give credence to the debunked election claims that were rejected in court. We should say rejected in court after court after court after court after court after court after court. 60 almost. Like 59 courts, some of them led by Trump appointees, rejected it out of hand because there was no argument. There was no evidence. It was conspiracy theory. Even to call it conjecture isn't being fair. With then Vice President Mike Pence set to take the reins in certifying the Electoral College results, affirming now President Joe Biden's victory, Trump had been pressuring his number two to overturn the election. Trump had been pressuring his number two to subvert the Constitution. The New York Times reported in January that Trump went so far as to call Mike Pence on January 6th as the then Vice President was leaving his residence to oversee the vote certification. Quote, "You can either go down in history as a patriot," Trump reportedly said, according to two people familiar with the conversation, "or you can go down in history as a pussy." When ABC News chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl in a March interview had asked Trump if the report was accurate, the former president didn't dismiss the comments. "I wouldn't dispute it," he told Karl. Karl responded, "Really?" The former president repeated his statement, "I wouldn't dispute it." Here's that moment from that interview. Watch this.
I hope Mike Pence comes through for us. He's a great guy. Of course, if he doesn't come through, I won't like him quite as much.
It had been reported back in January by the New York Times that Trump even pressured Pence on the morning of January 6th with a crude phone call. When I interviewed Trump for betrayal, I asked him about that.
There was a report, excuse my language, not mine, it was in the report, that you talked to him that morning and you said you could be a patriot or you can be a Did you really say that, or is that a incorrect?
I wouldn't dispute it.
Really?
I wouldn't dispute it.
So the Trump sycophants, the bootlickers to Trump who are in the audience often, who call in often and say, "That's fake news, that didn't happen." You just witnessed it. You heard his stupid voice say the thing that is being claimed. Because the mainstream media is not in the business of propaganda and lying. They have sources for what they say. There's a standard operating procedure for things that get printed. Unlike Newsmax and OAN and the rest of the conspiracy nutterbutters on the other side. Continuing with the article, a larger picture of what transpired during the tumultuous post-election period is chronicled in Karl's upcoming book. There's the name of his book. Since the events of January, Trump has repeatedly teased a 2024 presidential run, which would put him on a collision course with the former vice president, should both men decide to throw their hat in the ring. Get out of here. Mike Pence running for president? Those Trump idiots are not going to vote for Mike Pence. There is not a large enough coalition of reasonable, I'm using that in quotes because does that even exist, Republicans to jettison Donald Trump from consideration and embrace Mike Pence as a candidate. It's not a thing that's going to happen. Anyway, what do you think, though? I'd love to know. As always, you can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore. Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, everywhere. At Dollemore. Real easy. I've got another account out there that's Jesse Dollemore. But I only started that one because Donald Trump blocked me on Twitter. And so to see his tweets, I had to create a new account. Anyway, if you're into the sort of thing of supporting my work here on the platform, you can click the join button below this video, become a channel member, or you can head on over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast, which is absolutely not just for the podcast. The support over there absolutely helps what I do here. It is one continuous operation, both podcast and YouTube channel. Anyway, I love you guys. I will see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.